What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great night. We are here to continue the free agent series on to the linebackers. I know you've all been waiting for that one, so appreciate you all taking the time here, whether you're watching this tonight, tomorrow, whenever it may be. Love to hear your thoughts. Appreciate you hitting that like button, subscribing, all the things you're doing to support the channel. But let's keep this train moving, baby. Went through the offense, talked about the interior defensive line and edge rushers. We'll get into the secondary this weekend. Have you ready for free agency next week? Monday, tampering period begins. Wednesday, the official start of free agency at 4 p.m. So let's get through it. And of course, before we show you all of the free agents and my top fits, I'll show you the cap space draft picks and the current linebackers for the Eagles. So we'll start it off with the Eagles cap space and draft picks. Now, this will continue changing every day almost. And after Avonte Maddox officially being released, this number will change, but 41.9 mil. And I showed you a plethora of ways Eagles can create more cap space. So expect to see that number going up. It'll go down for a second, but I promise you we will get more if I can talk here. And you can see 16 draft picks. Now, I think we should draft a linebacker, but I also think that we should be signing as well. So this is one of those positions where we're going to be talking about a lot in the draft and, of course, right here, right now. And let's take a look at the reason why. Because, well, Nakobe Dean, we drafted him. Steele, third round, gets banged up last year. Unfortunate, his first year getting the opportunity to start. But we're hopeful he continues to develop, can be a linebacker of the future. But beyond him, all we've got is Ben Van Sumeren. So no reserve future guys. Now, Terrell Lewis, Brandon Smith, they're more of edge guys than they are off-ball linebackers. So not going to consider them the off-ball guys, but you can see Cunningham, Morrow, Leonard, and Bradley, all free agents. And talked about Sean Bradley, the special teams help he brings. Would not mind bringing him back. Got some veteran guys there, so we'll see if we want to bring one, two, or bring someone completely different. Now, I mentioned about the off-ball linebackers. I mentioned about Brandon Smith, Terrell Lewis. You see, I have them with the edge guys. So you can see I have this split up. This is a multiple scheme defense. You're going to be calling Reddick a defensive end, an outside linebacker. Really just depends on the scheme for that play, that down. I mean, things are going to change. This is something, we've been talking about for years. This is year 4 of running this, but a lot of confusion with the media there. So want to try to get them on board, understanding where people play. So you can see, hopefully this helps you out a little bit, but Dean and Van Sumeren, all the Eagles are rocking with right now. So yeah, we need to add to the room. So let's take a look at the full list of all of these free agents. I've got all 89 of them, the exclusive rights, the restricted, and the unrestricted free agents. So let's take a gander at them, and we'll start it off with the exclusive rights guys. Talk about that 2 years or less accrued here. And, these are the guys that have to sign for that minimum contract. If they don't, they just don't play. Now, that's if the team tenders them. The team doesn't have to and can allow them to become unrestricted free agents. So we'll see what they do. Old Christian Ellis. Missed that young man. Best of luck to him in the future. Great special teamer. Now, on to the restricted guys. These are the 3 seasons, and these are usually undrafted guys that were cut, that were drafted, but you can put a tender on these guys 3 different ways, and we talk about the right of refusal. A team can match the offer. You can put a draft pick tender on them so that if someone tries to sign them and they do, you get a draft pick back. So those are the restricted guys, and we'll see, if all of these guys are tendered. If not, they can become unrestricted. Now, the unrestricted, this is 4 or more seasons, and these guys can do whatever the hell they please, and there is a lot of these linebackers. So you can see here, the position of need for the Eagles is loaded here. Now, again, I think they should look to get younger as well, but I would add at least one in each free agency in the draft, and probably more because, well, you need depth there. You need some competition. So you can see you've got a lot of starting caliber guys. You've got some guys that used to start, some guys that could potentially start, some depth guys. So this is just the first list. I've got a second page of linebackers here for you, giving you a second to take a gander. You can always pause it if you would like, but I'm going to get into my top 22 of these guys and, of course, the second page as well. So, holy hell, as I mentioned, there are a lot of depth pieces, starting caliber guys, some guys that could potentially retire in Blake Martinez, Anthony Barr. So you've got some old heads out there. We'll see if the Eagles decide to add any more older veterans. But look, again, I would look to stay a little bit younger there, but I'm not against having a veteran presence there. So let's take a look now, ladies and gentlemen. You just saw the list of all 89 free agents. You could tell me your top 22, your top 20, top 10, top 5, top 3, whatever it may be. I'd love to hear it because this is a very important position to Vic Fangio and the Philadelphia Eagles. And we talk about, these off-ball guys and the ability to play, left or right. That's what this defense is. So you essentially just got like inside linebackers that need to be able to do all kinds of different things. And, a lot of people talk about, oh, this guy's undersized, this, that. Understand that 240 is like a normal weight for these guys, around 6 foot. That's just today's NFL. Even, Morrow is like 215 pounds. Like, that's just, they're lighter. They got to be able to cover certain schemes. You want the bigger guys. So we'll talk about all of it, but we need linebackers. Nakobe Dean, hopeful for his future. I like Ben Van Sumeren helping out as a special teamer, depth piece, but still a ways to go before you can rely on him. So let's talk about some of these guys that I think the Eagles should be interested in. And at number 22, Kenneth Murray here. And look, Kenneth Murray is somebody that, obviously a former first-round pick back in 2020 out of Oklahoma. A lot of high hopes for this young man, but he had an atrocious, career so far, to be honest with you. He didn't look good last year, but he really just hasn't looked good overall. And for me, this is one of those guys that it's low cost, high reward because he just really hasn't panned out. He played in 15 games, you can see, last season, and, he got a few sacks, did some things there. But for me, obviously his coverage, that's something he was decent at, giving up 71% coverage rating there. Completion, but missed tackle percentage, only 3.6. So there's still some hope there for him. I think that the kid, I wouldn't mind adding as depth, but he would have to cost you nothing, and he would be here competing in the summer. It's not like you're just handing him a job, but I wouldn't be against it. I know a lot of you have mentioned him, but sure. If you're looking for depth there, why not Kenneth Murray? Now, up next to 21, Ronnie Harrison. Now, this is one of those guys. Look, 207 pounds. That's pretty damn undersized, but Indianapolis was using Ronnie Harrison. Remember him from the Jags and the Browns, a former safety. This is a guy with that skill set. Obviously you talk about guys like Morrow where they are former safeties that have that coverage ability. So to me, looking at a guy like Ronnie Harrison, he's not going to be, the first guy you jump off the page like, oh yeah, let me go sign him. But this is one of those depth pieces who could help you as safety and could help you, and obviously only played in 7 games, started 3, but he's a depth piece here. So that's what we're talking about at the bottom half here. And, I think that he's doing pretty well development wise. He didn't really pan out to be what they thought he would be in Jacksonville or Cleveland, but I think, using him as a linebacker, that hybrid linebacker, dime backer, that could be something Vic Fangio could have a lot of fun with. So Ronnie Harrison, come on down. But up at number 20, I think, another depth piece. And this is obviously a former Eagles, Zach Cunningham. And last year, played in 13, started 10 games. Look, he's obviously 29, going to be 30. I would like to avoid, obviously having all old linebackers, but I'm not against having one. So if you want to bring somebody back, he actually did pretty decent when healthy. So again, you got to be adding in the draft and another free agent if you're doing this. But hey, add him to the mix, let him compete. I'm not against bringing back Zach Cunningham. Now, at number 19, I've got Josie Jewell. And, some of these guys are big names. I'm going off of how they played and how I think they'd fit. This dude, tackling machine, started 15 games last year. And look, he's got a great game. I like Josie Jewell, don't get me wrong. And I think, Singleton got over there, stole the show, but he had 67.4 completion percentage, given up only 4.6 yards per target. He did give up 2 touchdowns in coverage, but I liked what he was able to do, a 3.6% missed tackle rating. So I like Josie Jewell. I just think somebody with some more coverage ability would be better suited. So That's why I got him at 19. Now at number 18, Drew Tranquil. This is someone I've heard brought up a lot. And look, I like Drew. We talked about him last year, a decent death piece. I thought he did pretty damn good for the Chiefs this season, had 8 starts there. And, this is obviously somebody who 28 years old, and, he's given up 80% completion percentage. So maybe not the greatest in coverage. And to me, giving up 7.7 yards per completion and 8.2 missed tackle percentage. So I got to clean that up a little bit. But I like Drew Tranquil's athleticism. I think that he's a decent player, would be a good death piece. We talk about having that veteran. Why not Drew Tranquil? But I think someone who had a better year than Drew Tranquil, former Philadelphia Eagle Nicholas Morrow. So a little bit younger than Cunningham, played a little bit more than Cunningham here. And he had 3 sacks in that one game. Beyond that, didn't have any more. But, this is a guy who's good in coverage. You can blitz him every now and again. I think that, this defense just sucked all around. And, having a veteran presence is a good thing, and we need help all over the place. So not against bringing back Morrow or Cunningham. Don't think I would do both. And again, I would add more than just that. Up next, I've got Sione Taki. Takis, just like the little things my kid eats. Now, 28 years old, does not seem like it's right. So I think I might have jacked that one up for you guys. I apologize for that. But it might be if you let me look. He is 28. I'm sorry. But the experience is what's messed up. He's only been playing for 5 years. My apologies. I have been trying to get these shows out to you. I'm going to get this secretary out to you. It has just been chaos. So bear with me here. But I like this kid. I do. I think that, he is somebody who's 67.9 completion percentage given up, 9.7 missed tackles, though. So you don't like the missed tackles, but he's somebody with an athletic skill set. I think that he would fit in what we're trying to do as a death piece. So wouldn't be against it. Now we're going to get into some names that you guys are waiting for, and you might think some of them are pretty far down. Devin White being one of them. Now, he's only 26 years old, dude. He's going to be 27 this year, out of LSU, former first-round pick. We know who he is, but kind of played like ass at the end of the year and kind of gave up on his team because he was upset with what was going on, got benched. KJ Britt was starting over him. I don't like that, man. I like Devin White. I liked his skill set. Was very, excited about the thought of trading for him the last couple of years. But I'll be real with you. If he's going to be a whiny bitch when things look tough, we already know how I feel about those Cowboys-style fans. I definitely don't want the players to be like that. So he has fallen pretty far down my board. Did not have a great year last year. So just all around, a lot of things that added up to where Devin White went from someone in like my top 3 to now being number effing 15. That is quite the fall from grace, but 67.4% completion percentage given up, 6.7 yards per target given up, 6.7% missed tackle percentage. So, look, got some things to clean up. I still think he's got some talent. He would have to take a cheap deal. He still wants to be paid, so that's why I have him down here. With his struggles, I'm not paying someone that's going to be easily broken. Now, if he's willing to take a pay cut, try to win a Super Bowl, maybe we can talk then. Now, up next, I like this kid a lot. Jordan Brooks had a down year, though, and maybe some of it because you're next to Bobby Wagner there. But I think Jordan Brooks, a talented kid, started 16 games last year and only 26 years old, be his 5th season out of Texas Tech, and 76.9 completion percentage given up, 9.7 yards per completion with a 9.8 missed tackle percentage. So had his struggles last season, but he did have that nice pick 6, had a few passes deflected, a forced fumble recovery. So he did some things. He's still got talent. He's very young. In the right situation, I think, he would be great here. But this is one of those guys that might cost you a little bit more. And with his struggles, I don't know that when we're finally willing to spend, I don't know that I'm paying a high dollar for someone I've got to question. So that's why you see him at 14. Now, you're going to be surprised by these next few, and that's perfectly fine. Number 13, Jerome Baker. And I like Jerome Baker. He just played in Vic Fangio's system. We talked about it as soon as he was cut. Sure, great, fantastic. He knows the system. But that's not everything, and we talk about that all the time. That is a nice little, thing to have there. And I want linebackers that know the system, so that's why he's on my list. But he struggled mightily in coverage last year, 84.8 completion percentage given up, 12.4 missed tackle percentage. So missing tackles, giving up big plays, and He gave up only 1 touchdown in pass coverage, but 8.6 yards per completion. He had his struggles, man, and only started 12 games there. But I think, still talented, 27 years old. So you got to get him for cheaper, though. That is what it is to me. And if he still wants to be paid, then I'm looking elsewhere. Now, at number 12, I like Azeez Al-Shaair. We've talked about this. Look, this is a guy, I liked him when he was with San Fran. I think very talented. He obviously played for Bobby King, our new linebackers coach. We saw what he was able to do. Started all the games this year, had a couple of sacks, passes deflected. I think Azeez Al-Shaair is a good player, but I don't know that he had a great season as everyone else is kind of trying to make it out to be. Don't get me wrong. I like him, and that's why he's on my list here. But to me, again, I think, there are routes that are cheaper and better, and I think this dude could get paid. Now, 69.4 completion percentage, giving up 8.3 yards per completion, 7.4 yards, or 7.4% was the missed tackle percentage there. So, look, still very talented. I just don't know that we're going to be spending high dollars here. So that's why I've got those few guys you just saw a little further down, but very talented. Would not mind having them at all. Up next at number 11, Isaiah Simmons. Talked about him before he went to the Giants. And look, this is only going to be his 5th season. Obviously, things didn't work out in Arizona. He did pretty well in the Giants. You saw Wink Martindale using him all over the place. Vic Fangio could do the same. This dude could play that linebacker, could play that dime backer, the hybrid safety. We talk about all these things he can do. And, the big nickel, doing things that using his skill set, accentuating the skills he does have. So 6'4", 238. Kid's got a lot of talent. If you could find him on a good deal, I think this is a weapon that, you could definitely see Vic Fangio utilizing. Now let's get into the top 10. Let me know how you're feeling so far. At number 10, Anthony Walker. And look, I like A-Walk, and I think that without that injury history, he could be a little bit higher, and I think you could get him for a decent price. So and I want to go in the draft. I want to get some studs here, and we'll talk about them soon enough, but I think that you got to get a veteran too. You have to have veterans, not just Dean Van Sumeren and some rookie. So Anthony Walker, I think, is a good leader to have here coming into his 8th season, 28 years old. I would not be against that at all. Now at number 9, Levante David, not the Buccaneers guy you thought I'd have in the top 10, but he played a lot better last year than Devin White did. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe Devin White was just whining, but I don't like that, so I'm good there. But had a great season, man, at 34 effing years old. So, again, you're talking about adding a veteran piece. If this guy wants to come for dirt cheap, be the leader, help these young men grow, not against it at all. Probably wouldn't cost you that much because he's going to be 35. And I understand some people do not like the age, and I'm totally fine with that. But I would like to have somebody older than like 25 here, other than the Dean and Van Sumeren that we do have. So that's why we're talking about some of these veteran guys. Number 8, another veteran, Eric Kendricks, 32. And, he was just let go the other day. He actually had a pretty decent season. Left Minnesota. This will be his 10th year now. Going to be 33, former 2nd-round pick, but still playing at a high level. So, again, a cheaper veteran piece. If you could convince somebody to come play, I think Eric Kendricks would be a good option for that veteran piece. Now, up next, Jordan Hicks, former Eagle, 3rd-round pick back in 2015. He spent some time there with the Cardinals before going to the Vikings. Going to be 32, but still playing at a high level before he was injured. And I would not mind to be able to rock my old Jordan Hicks jersey. It has been a few years, ladies and gentlemen, like 5 years since he's been gone. Holy crap, time flies. But he did have his struggles in coverage, gave up 81%, was good in tackling last year, 5.3 missed tackle percentage there. So he still got some left in the tank. You're looking for a veteran leader. Why not that old man right there? Almost said young man. So up next, this is the final old man river that we're talking about before we get into the top 5. And Bobby Wagner still playing at an insane level, going to be 34, and he's still killing it, man. Former 2nd-round pick by the Seahawks, went to the Rams for a minute there, came right back, and dude, he was killing it last year. Started 16 of the 17 games. You can see, man, he went out there, put people in the dirt. Still at his age, good in coverage, good against the there's just really Now, he gave up 80.3%, so he's not great in coverage. He is a tackling machine, only a 4.2% missed tackle percentage. So he's still got some talent. You want a veteran that can really ensure you get the best out of your young guys. If he would sign for cheap, I would be all about it. Now, let's jump into this top five. Love to hear your thoughts so far. And at number five, got myself a young man, 25 years old, Tyrell Dodson. And this kid, 6', 237, so got a little weight on him. Undrafted in 2019 out of Texas A&M by the Bills. But you can see only started 10 games. But when he was called upon with the injuries, this kid stepped in and did well. Very versatile piece, athletic kid that I think would fit in pretty well. And he's young. So you'd have Dean, you would have Van Sumeren, you could draft someone, go grab a veteran as well. And I think that's the look. I'm looking to get a little younger there. So that's why you see someone like a Tyrell Dodson here. Now at number four, Mack Wilson, only 26 years old, out of Alabama, former 5th-round pick. Only started one game last year. Still had 3.5 sacks, 3 passes deflected. This kid's got a lot of talent. I really like what he brings to the game. And I think that you get a guy like Mack Wilson in here. Again, I'm looking to get a little bit younger. I know we signed free agents last year, but I need some guys that I can depend aren't going to be banged up the entire season. And look, you never know what's going to happen with injuries, but I'm just saying, getting a little younger, that way, maybe if they are good, you keep them around for more than just a couple of years. So, Mack Wilson did pretty well, had a 75% completion percentage given up, and 5.1% missed tackle percentage there. So I think, this kid, he's got a lot of hope. He's got some development to still go here. Coming into his 6th season, I think, given the opportunity, could see him shine. Now at number 3, Blake Cashman, 27 years old. And look, this kid out of Minnesota played really well for the Texans last year, missed a few games, but started 13. And look, man, these, take stats with a grain of salt. I bring these with just because I know you guys love this stuff. But, Blake Cashman is somebody that I think, don't look at the stats. Watch his game. Go watch some highlights of the kid. 69.1% completion percentage given up, 7% missed tackle percentage. Had a damn good season. I think this is someone you bring in here with Dean, with that rookie we talk about, Van Sumeren, maybe another veteran. I feel a lot more comfortable. So got Blake Cashman at number 3 here. And right here, this is a tough one for me. I had him at I can't believe I don't have him at number 1, but I'm just going to go with what I have. Patrick Queen at number 2. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy. Look, he's probably one of the better. Now, he didn't have one of the best seasons, to be honest. He was like further down than a lot of these guys. If, you're looking at stats and putting stuff together, but overall, this kid is only 24 years old. He's going to be 25, going into his 5th season out of LSU. We know the kind of talent. Things in Chicago, we're going weird with Roquan. He gets traded there. Queen and Roquan go the hell off. Well, now they're locking up Roquan. So Queen, it does not look, they didn't franchise tag him. So it does not look like they will be bringing him back. And again, he had some struggles last year, but 77.6 completion percentage, 9.5 missed tackle percentage. So don't like that, but he cleans some things up. You give him an opportunity. Queen, Dean, and, in between, whoever, I don't care. I would effing love it. So I did have him at number 1 forever, but a guy who had a better season, who I think would cost you less, and I'm not so sure how he wants to break the bank for Patrick Queen. That's the problem, right? So that's why we're looking at guys that are cheaper. I wanted to have Queen there, but I should have had him more close with Bobby Wagner, to be honest, just for those guys that are costing money or just aren't, exactly what we need right now. But right now, I think the perfect candidate, and I've talked about him for the last couple of years, to be honest with you. You've seen him during the trade candidate show, but Frankie Louvu here, I think that this kid's super talented. And we talked about, what Carolina was able to do over there. And I think that, given the opportunity, this dude was effing shining. And bring him here with Vic Fangio, and, he's going to be doing essentially the same stuff. And obviously, they're not the same defenses, but having a multiple scheme defense, being able to be versatile and move around. He only gave up 60.7 completion percentage. He did have a 12.6 missed tackle percentage. Do not like that, but this dude flies all over the place. good in coverage. I literally think he is perfect for what the Eagles are trying to do here. 6'3", 235. So he does have some size on him, and he can knock you out. Just clean up some of that tackling stuff. But look, man, I think that there is a lot of talent here in this linebacker class, but also in this draft class coming up with linebackers. So keep in mind, I don't show my hand just yet, but that stuff will be coming literally after the first wave next week of free agency. That draft stuff's coming next week. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen. We're going position by position with the draft stuff next, and you'll get to know everything I think, where I think the Eagles should add, who they should add. So obviously you already know most of the free agent stuff, secondary this weekend, but that's all I've got for you tonight. If you got anything from this video, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. You can always subscribe, share this thing, whatever you're doing to support the channel. I seriously can't thank you enough. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. You have any question, please comment down below. You're watching this later, comment down below. But I'll be back tomorrow, of course, live for Fan Friday, baby. And it's going to be an exciting one. Lots of stuff to talk about. Brandon Graham, everything else under the sun. We'll be talking about Maddox, Byard, everybody going, staying, what's going down. I will keep you up to date every single day. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great night. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!